All right, so today is a great day. I just got the new Raspberry Pi 400. And if you haven't heard of this yet, then you've been living under a rock because it's been all over every Raspberry Pi related website. It's extremely exciting. Basically, it is a Raspberry Pi keyboard, but with a Pi 4 inside of it. And it's not exactly that simple, but it is literally the same case as the Raspberry Pi keyboard. But I'm going to do a very quick unboxing, and it's it is going to be very quick. But and then we'll just take a look around it, and let's go. So this is obviously the front of the box. It's a pretty small box. I love it when companies put the product like in real size. Or it's not actually in like life size, but anyway, they put like the front of the keyboard right there. Sorry for the glare. And then like they got the back of it right there, which I just like that. But if we flip this over, it does actually go through all the specs and everything. So it's meant to go on a shelf, and it does have some safety stuff here, which will be important later. And it says made in the UK right here, which is really nice. That's cool. This is the US version. It's not the European keyboard. You can see mine actually got dented a little bit in shipping. This was just like in a padded envelope. But anyway, let's try to open this. So it is a little weird because it's got these tabs that kind of go down. So you have to push the sleeve out, and then you can shove the cardboard out. We'll just set that aside. And then you've just got a box. Let me get it the right way around. And so you just open it, and there it is. Just sitting in there. There was no bag, no nothing. And let's take it out of the box. So there you go, quickest unboxing ever. That's it. There's nothing else in the box. There's no like regulatory statements or any anything else, because all that's on the back of the packaging. So they've got all those statements and everything there. So before I get started, you might notice that the video quality is not like perfect. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not perfect. It's the frame rate might be a little weird from time to time, but you might also notice me refocusing and things like that. And I'm actually using the Raspberry Pi high quality camera to record this, and I'm using it as a USB webcam. So that is a really cool project, and stay tuned for a video about that. But let's go ahead and hop into this. So it is the same. Apparently, I don't have the official Raspberry Pi keyboard, but it is the same keyboard unit, except for the this button has been changed to a power button. And I actually don't remember what it used to be. But yeah, it's the power button now. So you'd hit function power, and apparently it doesn't turn on when you first plug it in. So you have to use the power button. I need to test to see if that puts it into shutdown when you're actually running Raspberry Pi OS. Interesting, it does have 12 function keys, but you have to use the function button for 11 and 12 over here. And I am sorry if there's some glare. I tried to get my lighting set up good for this, but this thing is very white. But yeah, if we look at the back, and let me see if I can focus a little bit closer here. So on the back, you've got your 40-pin header, which is apparently compatible with all the 40-pin shields and things like that, although I assume that they will be cartridges now, right? Because you're going to be plugging it in straight like that, unless you want this thing, pointing up from the back. Anyway, so you've got the 40-pin connector there. They do label pin 1 and pin 40, which is really convenient. Your SD card slot for, the OS SD. Your two micro HDMIs, just like the Raspberry Pi 4. The USB-C, again, just like the Pi 4. And this says it has power over here, but the Pi 4 is capable of doing like Ethernet and other things over USB-C. I don't know if this board is compatible with with those things yet, but I don't think they changed the hardware that much from the regular Pi 4. And then we've got two USB 3s, one USB 2, and the network port. And this is gigabit Ethernet. If I look at the back of the box, it does say that it has gigabit Ethernet right there. And if this is a Pi 4, where's the other USB 2.0 port? Well, that's actually wired into the keyboard. So this is a USB keyboard. It's just, it doesn't have a USB connection. It's just wired in, hardwired into the USB port, the USB 2.0 port. So you only get one on the back. But that's fine. There wasn't a whole lot of space left anyway. And then it looks like this is like a Kensington lock port, which is an interesting addition to this. And I guess it's good. If you have this in a classroom or something, it's very easy for it to walk away. So I can see why they would do that. So if we go and flip this over, like I said, this is exactly the same case as the Raspberry Pi official keyboard. It just doesn't have the wire sticking out, and of course it's a whole computer. And the only difference that I've seen so far is that it has these vent holes. And I'm not going to do a teardown of this right now, but if you are interested, there are other channels out there, like Explaining Computers did a teardown, and ETA Prime did a teardown, and it's very very interesting what the inside of this looks like, because it has a giant metal heatsink that covers like this whole area, and when you pick this thing up, it's fairly heavy, and most of that weight is because of that giant heatsink. So it's not a heatsink like you're thinking, with fins and a fan and things like that. It's actually a big piece of metal that's like contoured, and I guess it's pressed or molded into the right shape to touch the processor, which is actually about right here. And it does have a newer version, a slightly newer version of the processor that's used in the Pi 4, and the base clock of it is 1.8 gigahertz instead of 1.5. So you do get a little bit more speed out of this just out of the box, and other YouTubers so far have had really good success overclocking this. So another thing about having that big heatsink right here is that the keyboard is very stiff, and it actually has a really good feel to it. It's not bendy like you would expect a plastic keyboard to be. And I wish I actually had the Pi keyboard to compare it, but I'm guessing that this is going to be stiffer than that. And actually it feels pretty nice to type on. Let me and it has kind of a clicky sound to it. So let me try and get you some audio. So while I have this out, let me do one size comparison. This is one of my favorite keyboards. It is the Apple wireless keyboard. I don't know, I just really like it. It's a nice form factor. And if you compare the size of it to the Pi one, they're almost the same width. So if you compare the thickness of them, the Pi 400 is just a little bit thicker. Do it this way. The Pi 400 is just a little bit thicker, but it does have a whole computer in it. So I hope that gives you a better idea of the Raspberry Pi 400. Again, that was the quickest unboxing I've ever done. This is the standalone unit. It's not the kit. So this is $70 versus the $100 for the kit. Now, if you don't have a Raspberry Pi already, or you need another SD card and maybe another power supply, and maybe you're giving it as a gift to somebody, the kit is perfect for that, because it includes all of that plus a mouse, like the official Raspberry Pi mouse, and then also a starter guide. So I've just bought this because I already have everything, and I know what I'm doing with the Raspberry Pi, so I don't need the starter kit. But it's a great deal. So that was just a quick look at the Raspberry Pi 400. It's a pretty cool little unit. I'm going to be trying it out some more over, the next months or whatever, and trying to do different things, maybe making some cartridges for that port there. And yeah, it's just pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day.